You're listening to Heart of Mind, Radio for the New Millennium. I'm Kathryn Davis, and today we are going to be speaking about a wonderful organization, we.net, and all of the people who are involved in real change in the world. So I invite you to stay tuned. We'll be speaking with Rick Ulfick, and he is the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net, a global platform to unite and amplify the efforts of people, organizations, and movements working for the common good. Rick is the co-creator of 11 Days of Global Unity, 11 Ways to Change the World, linking local awareness and action campaigns into an inspiring international movement with participants including Desmond Tutu, Jane Goodall, Deepak Chopra, Ensler, Bill McKibben, and many others. Also joining us is Heidi Little. Heidi is a vocalist, songwriter, performing artist, educator, and founder of International Children's Month and the Center for Advancement in Social Emotional Learning. Heidi is coordinator of We the World's Campaign for Children and Youth and producer of We the World's first compilation album. So we're going to be talking about all of this today and inviting you who are listening to this program to get on board, to take action and to begin to make a difference in the world. So why don't we start, Rick, as the founder of all of this activity, to give us a sense of why you're doing what you're doing and how you see this work really blossoming and growing. Our world seems to be disintegrating, but maybe not so much as we think.
Right. So thank you again, Kathryn, for your ongoing work to create a better world through Heart of Mind and all the different things that you are doing. And I also want to mention that you are overseeing one of We the World's 11 campaigns for change, which is health, because you've been so involved with health issues, inner health as well as outer and community and societal health. So so thank you again for that and for hosting this important series that you are doing with Heart of Mind.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So thank you. So just in case anyone hearing this show would like to find out more about We the World and the We campaign and possibly collaborate with us or even join our We team, you can go to we.net, which Kathryn mentioned. And there you can actually sign up to be part of our We team as an individual or sign up your organization or both. So yes, Kathryn, we're living at a time of great challenges to our societies and to our entire civilization. As the world has seen, the pandemic has proved to be most deadly to those who have already suffered from decades and even centuries of catastrophic racial and economic inequality. So in the US, frustration and rage has been intensified, as we all know, by the deadly use of force by police and others against unarmed African Americans, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and others. And the list is growing, including recent reports about Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta and others, and it's inflaming communities across the US and around the world. So it's possible that we are at a turning point. We've seen these kinds of uprising before, but it seems like maybe something is different this time. The protests seem to be having more influence on politicians than in the past. There's talk about shifting some of police funding away from police and toward community services. And so we're at a critical juncture where we can ask, how can we best move forward to create a society and world that actually works for all? And that's part of the mission of We the World. Our mission is to maximize social change globally until we have a world that works for all. So to fulfill that mission, we do many kinds of things. We create events, campaigns, platforms that really support people and organizations that are working to create a better world and a world that works for all. So as you mentioned, we started 11 Days of Global Unity. This was over 15 years ago. We had our 15th anniversary this past September. And those 11 campaigns that have come out of 11 Days of Global Unity are going all year round, and they are being joined by hundreds, literally hundreds of organizations that have signed up under one or more of these campaigns. And pretty soon we'll be hearing from Heidi, who is overseeing one of those campaigns, Children and Youth. And that's regarding June being International Children's Month. So maybe, I guess, what I could talk about is like an overview of the June programs, which I think of as kind of a convergence. And there are moments around the year that are kind of a convergence of events. 11 Days of Global Unity is a convergence of events in September. We have in March and April what we call Earth Month, which is kind of a convergence of events around the planet, around the environment, and Earth Day and that kind of thing. So in June, we have multiple programs and events that We the World is doing and our allies are doing, and they're kind of intersecting as well. So one thing I'd like to mention, since Heidi is going to be talking in detail about International Children's Month, June. So I'll leave that to her. But other things are also interesting in June. One thing is the Compassion course is starting on June 24th, and that's based on nonviolent communication. And Kathryn, you and I have talked about NVC multiple times in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so if you're interested in finding out about nonviolent communication and maybe signing up for the Compassion course, which is an online course and is starting, like I said, June 24th, you can go to compassioncourse.org. And there you can find out everything. You can register. And if you do wind up registering, you please mention that We the World, that you heard about it through We the World. And the sliding scale of the cost of the course can really fit anyone's budget. Literally, totally free is one of the options. And there are, higher options where you can pay something, which helps to support the New York Center for Nonviolent Communication, which is hosting this course, and it's being taught by Tom Bond, who is an acclaimed nonviolent communication trainer who has studied with the founder and creator of nonviolent communication, Marshall Rosenberg. He not only studied with him, but he was a close associate of Marshall Rosenberg. So anyway, so that's one thing that's happening in June. Another thing is that on June 13th started the 100-day countdown to the International Day of Peace. And that is significant because the International Day of Peace is almost like an international holiday. It's like all the countries in the world are involved with doing events for that. It happens on September 21st. And it's also part of 11 Days of Global Unity. In fact, 11 Days starts on September 11th and goes through September 21st. So that the 11 days is kind of like the final countdown to the International Day of Peace. So the 100-day countdown has all kinds of things involved with it. In fact, one of our other coordinators, Sue Blythe, is doing something for each of the 100 days leading up to the International Day of Peace. And that has to do with the Climate Collaboratory. So they're doing things that are talking about solutions to the climate crisis. And the drawdown, which was a concept created by Paul Hawken, talks about 100 solutions for climate change. And so Sue is kind of matching up the 100 solutions for climate change with the 100-day countdown. So that's pretty interesting. And then June 26th is the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the UN Charter, including the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and all kinds of things. So that's pretty significant as well. So by the way, the theme for the International Day of Peace this year that the UN chose is Shaping Peace Together. And I'll just say that part of the June events that we're doing include special broadcasts of our Welcome to We show. So that show where we've been featuring various groups that are involved with some of these things that I'm talking about at the June events.
I have two questions. Where can people connect with the show? How do they listen into it? And the other thing I wanted to ask you, when you were talking about the workshop coming up, one of the things that I've noticed as I've been engaging with people online, which I'm doing much more now because that's the only place we can engage, but there's really a big gap in understanding and being able to communicate. And I find that many people, even myself, are talking past each other and not really connecting in a way that allows to build understanding. So I know you're a trainer as well. I'm wondering if you could give any thought on what people could do in the immediate to make their communications more productive.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. So, it's a powerful strategy and framework, and nonviolent communication. It allows people to begin to let go of their judgments and interpretations and get to what's really going on for people in terms of their actual needs. And the thing is, everybody has certain needs. We call them universal needs, right? Like breathing, air, water, food, shelter. Those all humans on the planet need, of course. But there are also psychological needs that we all have. So, for example, respect is a need that we all have, and meaning and autonomy, love, empathy, community. I mean, there are a large number of them. There's about 90 or 95 that have been identified. Connection, touch, hope, order, security. I mean, all of these needs are things that we share. And the cool thing is that those needs can never come into conflict. So we all have these things. So they just can't ever come into conflict. But what can come into conflict are the strategies that people adopt to meet their needs. So if you are in a conflict with someone, or let's say if two people are in a conflict, and we want to, and both people want to resolve the conflict, because of course that's important in order to resolve a conflict. But if two people want to resolve a conflict, and let's say a third person is acting as a go-between, like a mediator or something like that. So if they're using nonviolent communication, what they would do is try to get the people to be in a state of connection. And a state of connection is when each person who's in conflict with the other can actually articulate their own feelings and needs, maybe the needs that are not being met, and they can articulate the other person's feelings and the needs that person are not being met. So when both people can articulate completely their own feelings and needs and the feelings and needs that are not being met of the other person, then they're in what we call a state of connection. And then they're able at that point to co-create a new strategy that actually works for both of them, which they weren't able to do before that, because when you're in conflict, you know what's going to work for you. If the other person just changes and does whatever you want, then that's going to work for you, but that may not work for them. And then and they know what they want from you. That's a strategy that they have that they know that works, but you don't want to do that. So the idea is to get to the point where you really want to work out a strategy that works for both of you. And once you can do that, then you talk about it and you figure it out. And it works almost every time, but you need those ingredients of, you want to end the conflict or resolve the conflict. And then you get to know what's going on for the other person and what's going on for yourself, and you share that. And then you can get to that point. And we feel that this is almost like a peace technology, like we could do that on a large scale. We could do that between countries that are in conflict. So if you can do it between two people, you can scale it up in a sense. Does that help?
Yeah, that's very, very helpful. Thank you.
One world, one song, one dream, one life, one. Sing it from the mountains, sing it from the shore, sing it from wherever you find yourself in love. Sing it for enlightenment, sing it to believe, sing it that it is all up to you and me. Sing it for our children, sing it for the love, sing it from the place inside of you that's rising up.
And I am really excited as well to speak with you, Heidi, about your work that you're doing with children, because I see that as a really vital point in transforming all of our world, because these children are going to be growing up into the adults that will be organizing and doing things. And when I look back at some of the problems that we're having now with racism and intolerance, I realize that a lot of these people were taught these ways as children and were exposed in as children. And I think that we can really do something important through the work that you're doing. So please, in your own way, just let us know what you're doing and the impact that it has and what you hope for it to be as we go forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kathryn. Thank you for having me on your show, Heart of Mind Radio. What a beautiful title, and so in alignment. And Rick, honoring the work, of course, We the World. So this is our 8th year for International Children's Month. And our mission is love, care, and respect of all the children on Earth. And we believe that really everyone is a child of this planet, and that we all deserve to feel what it feels like to be love, care, and respect. And I invite our listeners now to just kind of tap into, what does that feel like in your body? You know, what does it feel like to love, care, and respect yourself? And all of the things outside of us aside, what does that feel like inside to love, care, and respect? And just really breathe with that and feel what that feels like. And I hope you'll come back to that throughout the times coming up in the future as we're moving through these challenges that we have. So my master's degree is in social emotional learning, advancements in social emotional learning. And for 25 years, I've been in circle with all kinds of children all over Turtle Island, Canada, Mexico, United States, in circle learning what it's like to be together, learning what it's like to be an active and supportive listener, learning what it's like to catch the ball and making sure we're present so we don't drop it, and learning to accept and receive each other as other hearts and beings on this planet. And, you know, children aren't born with racial inequalities looming in their personalities. Definitely historical, I believe, historical trauma in the DNA. You know, my own mother was born in a concentration camp. And so I'm no stranger to what's going on and to the holes it leaves in family. So starting with the self and then extending to family and community and the world, that's what our platforms are all about. So June is International Children's Month, and we're in the midst of it all right now, and it is fantastic. And our platform actually runs 365 days a year with a theme that has always been about empowerment and support and, moving through things, in a heart-based way. So we circle with peace in education and in self, in family and community. We circle with water as self, and family and community in the world. We circle with earth and gardening and our connection to the plants and the animals and the trees. And when we work with a lot of indigenous relations and chiefs who do water medicine wheel work and prayers and how to connect with the sun and important things that we don't get reminded about in a typical busy day-to-day lifestyle, in a typical busy day-to-day public school system. I've been blessed with working in all kinds of schools: free schools, home schools, no schools, Catholic schools, private schools, public schools, camps, creative endeavors. We circle with teamwork. We circle with a whole being, body, mind, and spirit. What's a whole person like? What's a whole child like? We circle with taking it to the streets in 2019. So what does love in action look like? What does love in action sound like? What does love in action do? So we believe power in love, power in care, and power in respect. And you move into the world, it's my experience, you move into the world with those three things in your being, and the doors open and the conversations happen and the transformations that we need begin to become. Because when we come at somebody with resentment and judgment, they shut down and we can't really grow into something else. So this year's a miracle. It's never been so ethereal, of a platform. And when we sat down to work on it and bring it out into the world, I wasn't sure what that was about, but I know that miracles come through each other, that we're each other's miracles. And I personally have a strong spiritual connection to God and spirit. And I teach my own children that. And I like to be able to give the children and youth of the world the opportunity to connect with their highest self, their inner guidance system, their love. How are they going to move forward in this, in integrity? And I'm really happy to say here in June, I am meeting all of these amazing youth. We started in 2018, Earth Guardians back in the day, and moving into this 0 hour. And, 2019 was the rise of the youth. And, by September of 2019, they were everywhere. And we still didn't really listen. And they had all the media attention, and we still didn't really even listen. And they were asking us to take care of their water, to take care of your water. And they weren't really heard, even though they were heard. And that's the thing with children, it's like they're to be seen and not heard, or, they don't really have anything to offer until they come to maturity and in this kind of thing. But the children that are being born these days, they have so much intelligence and so much conviction and passion to be here. And it's going to take that inside of them to really make this place a place that's going to be safe and foster their creativity and their love and their care and their respect and their governing systems and their community action. And so it's very important to listen to them and to hear what they have to say. And you'll be surprised because they're very articulate and they really do understand and feel what unity is like. They've had to come together amongst themselves because the grown-ups segregated and separated them for so long. So we're dealing with the rebalancing of 2, 3, 5 thousands of years of historical trauma too against children. This isn't just about racial issues. This is a thing inside of us about love, care, and respect. And I feel like all of it is tied in together. So as we are learning that and becoming something more, becoming more beautiful, and becoming something that can work together, communities and humanities that can work together, they're rising up. And this is International Children's Month, so we're celebrating them, from popcorn to petitions to parades. I mean, what can you do in your own house to raise the bar for love, care, and respect? What can you do through simple acts of things like your chores with your little ones and your outside time with the sun and the birds and the trees and the water? And what can you do now that we have so much time on our hands to be with our children instead of being stressed out about everything that's going on out there that we really have no control over? The only thing we really have control over is self. And so when we educate our children that that's what they have, their power lays inside of them, and their power is inside of their voices and their action. So we've got the National Children's Campaign that came up, and we are so happy to be uniting with the youth from the National Children's Week, National Children's Campaign. Raheen from Pakistan is one of our featured youth for the 21st. So we've joined forces. We've always been working with World Peace and Prayer Day. We created the Children's Global Wave of Love for June 21st at 1:11 p.m. in every heart and every time zone. And this is our 8th year of having a wave of love. And we created that in support of World Peace and Prayer Day because back in the day, we didn't know any Indigenous relations. But within a year of creating International Children's Month and within a year of asking for support with understanding how to take care of the water and understanding with how to take care of the earth, we had these connections with our Indigenous relatives because they've always historically taken care of the earth. That's their job here. And they pass it down from person to person. And so June 21 is World Peace and Prayer Day, 25 years, and 8 years for the Children's Global Wave of Love. And it's landing smack in the beginning of, or flowingly in the beginning of Global Unity Week, which begins the 20th through the 27th. And We the World and International Children's Month is taking care of the children and youth convergence stage on the 21st for 12 whole hours. And we're hosting World Peace and Prayer Day through Global Unity Week and the children and youth, and intermittently dispersed with youth voices and activities and fun things to listen to and hear and be a part of an experience with the elders that we brought on board for the 21st. And it's going to be quite a celebration, music and dialogue, you know, about the very interesting time that we're in and about all the gifts that each other has that we can celebrate. Because this really is something that is amazing. We've never seen unity like we have right now. We've never seen the levels of unity like what is happening right now. And I don't know if I'll ever get the opportunity to say this again, because, you know, when we're working through and we're boots to the ground, you know, we just keep going and no one's really taking tallies, not in my camp anyway. But we were able to help bring chiefs and leaders together in the last 24, 48 hours. We were literally brokering peace for the entire planet on behalf of the children and youth. And everyone has agreed to let bygones be bygones and come to the table to celebrate our unity and to come together in our prayers for love, care, and respect of all the children on earth and love, care, and respect of the earth and ourselves and each other. So this is an amazing, amazing year so far. And I know that there's been a lot of challenge and heartache, and I'm so sorry to anyone who's lost anyone in this. And I believe we gain angels also, and that, you know, we are definitely not alone here, and we definitely have support. So internationalchildrensmonth.com/2020 is where the guide for June is. And one more time is internationalchildrensmonth.com/2020. And then internationalchildrensmonth.com is where the 8 years of free thematic activity platforms are. And I would love to encourage people to experience, journey, look through, see what you find that piques your interest. There's all kinds of things in there. And join us. And just holding that love, care, and respect in your heart is enough. And what you'll find is your inspirations and your clarity about what you are to do in these times are going to bubble up inside of you. And you are going to proceed out into the things that you do fully supported. And I thank you, and I love you, and I respect you. Thanks, Kathryn.
Wonderful. I have a question. One is, what is this wave you're speaking of? And I wanted to clarify if you actually have events for children themselves to play within.
Yeah, absolutely. So June 21 is the Wave of Love, and that's 1:11. So for you guys, it'd be 1:11 p.m. Eastern time. It begins in New Zealand, and ends in Hawaii. And it's at the top of the hour, 1:11 every hour. People will go inside and they will feel what it feels like for love, care, and respect inside of themselves. And then when they feel really, really full of what that feels like, then they will send it out into the world, to the next time zone. Love, care, and respect to our brothers and sisters in the next time zone. Love, care, and respect to our community, our buildings, our community, our people, our country, the world. We send it out. And then what happens is, as you're breathing in, you're receiving the love that's come from the other time zones. As you open your arms and your heart to receiving the love, care, and respect from the other time zones. So we're like giving and receiving and giving and receiving. And it's amazing. The feeling, if you tap in, it's beautiful. And for those people who enjoy energy work, it's very powerful. And you get to see the effects of love, care, and respect go around, you know. A lot of wins for humanity have happened in the last few years. A lot of things that were under the table or under the rug have been cleaned out, and people are caring for them now. It's a beautiful thing. And then, the events are all for families and children and youth. A lot of people are at home, so this is amazing that we get to do it online and everybody can be a part of it. And we're estimating 10 million people will join us on June 21. And it's Father's Day. You know, so celebrating those divine masculine people in our lives, those men who work for equality, those men who are supporting the women and the children, you know, like lift them up, because it's Father's Day also. And and then the platform's full of stuff for children and families to do. You can learn how to build your own water medicine wheel. You can learn how to tap out your anxiety. You can learn to use your imagination to create works of art and music and peace and dances and all kinds of fun things. You can hear stories from Grandma Crossbear. She's got oodles and oodles of indigenous stories that are fun to listen to. And we've got concerts this month that are booked online. Everything's online, so everybody can access it at any time. It's amazing. It really is.
Excellent. And Rick, you wanted to talk about unity as well and events coming up?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, what Heidi is doing is with the International Children's Month is also being represented in something called World Unity Week. And World Unity Week is I guess it's a coalition of organizations led by Unity Earth that are focused on bringing people together for this week from June 20th through the 27th. They're calling it a call for partnership in collective action. And they've set up a remarkable number of what they call convergence rooms and stages and halls where all kinds of things are happening. As Heidi mentioned, there's a youth and family room where there are going to be many videos and discussions about children and youth and activism and all of that. But there are lots of different things happening as well. There's a convergence room that's focused on climate, environment, and food. One that is focused on the digital revolution, mobilization room. There's one where you can watch movies in what they're calling the Unity Theater and Film Festival. There's a Humanity Rising room. I'm going to be speaking on a panel for Humanity Rising on June 22nd, I think it is. And people can find out more about all this by going to worldunityweek.org. So it's pretty remarkable with all these different things going on there. And one of the things that I did want to mention also that's part of that, but is part of a larger movement to address racial and economic justice issues. It's called the Poor People's Campaign. And they, on June 20th, they are doing what they call a moral march on Washington, and it's going to be online, digital online. So to find out more about that, go to poorpeoplescampaign.org. Many people may have heard about Reverend William Barber. He's kind of revitalizing or reviving the Poor People's Campaign that Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. started in 1967. So We the World has been partnering with them. We did a broadcast focusing on the Poor People's Campaign recently. And you had asked Kathryn about seeing some of these broadcasts that we've been doing with the Welcome to We show. There are two places where people can see those. They can go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/the We Campaign. And they can also go to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/WeTheWorld.org. So that's our YouTube page. And so it's really an exciting time when all of these things are coming together. One of our dear friends, Sharon Ria, started something called No Judgment, Just Love. And she's been doing some things, having a very safe environment to connect with people, especially in families, with young people and whole families, because she's a family coaching person. And so you can find out more about that by going to njjl.world. And that stands for No Judgment, Just Love. So njjl.world, and you'll find out all about the things that they're doing. So, and we are putting up a guide to all of this on we.net, and ultimately that connects all of these things that we're talking about today.
Excellent, excellent. And so can you maybe bring also to the conversation, looking a little bit forward to the 11 days of global unity? Do you have anything set up for that yet? Or maybe you can reach out to people who might want to, again, because you did invite people to come in and join, but what's really gearing up for the fall, and how do you foresee that happening?
Yes, right. So that's very exciting. And as I had mentioned before, we started that in 2004 with the help of people like Desmond Tutu, Jane Goodall, Deepak Chopra, and so many folks, and it has been growing over the years. So this September will be our 16th anniversary, and out of the 11 days has grown 11 campaigns for change. And I'll just say them so people have a sense of what they are, and really you can get involved with any one of them, or even more than one of them if you'd like. So we have unity, interdependence, environment, economic justice, health, children and youth, women, human rights, freedom, disarmament, and peace. So all of these campaigns are, they have their different activities and different things that are going on. And during 11 days in September is when we give a kind of a global spotlight to all of these campaigns and what they're working on, what they've accomplished. There are so many different things. I mean, you've heard from Heidi all the interesting things with children and youth that she's been doing, and that are supported and part of the Children and Youth campaign. We could talk about each of these campaigns, like environment. Sue Blythe has started the Climate Collaboratory, and there are multiple things happening with that. And of course, we've been connecting with the climate movement and the people involved with that. So that's been happening. Economic justice, that's where we have connected with the Poor People's Campaign and other groups that are working in that space. Health, and you have been working in that, Kathryn, and many others. We have the Functional Forum with James Maskell and others. So, we could really go through each of those. And we're looking for people to get involved with them in the months leading up to September. So if you go to we.net, you can sign up to work with any of these campaigns. You can become a coordinator for one or more of these campaigns.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll be doing more shows to go more deeply into all of the various initiatives. I don't think we'll be able to do it all today, but that really does give us an idea of the scope of the work that you're doing. And I would say that we're very close to the end of our time together. So maybe first, Heidi, give out those contacts again, because people never really get it the first time. And if you have any final thought, and then Rick, do the same.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks again. So if you'd like to hear music and learn about the Center for Advancement in Social Emotional Learning and International Children's Month all in one go, you can go to HeidiLittle.com, HeidiLittle.com. And I have lots of music for you. And then International Children's Month is internationalchildrensmonth.com/2020. That's internationalchildrensmonth.com/2020. And worldpeaceandprayer.org is the big prayer part that I would like to put out there into the world. And we're all going to be circling with Global Unity Week, which is Global Unity Week.org.
I forgot to ask you also about the album.
World Unity.
World Unity Week. Thanks, Rick.
Right.
Good thing we're a team.
Yeah,
Tell me.
And I forgot to ask you about this album that's coming out. Tell us something
the We
about
the World
the album.
Yeah. It's featured on internationalchildrensmonth.com/2020. And if people just want to go download it and support 13 different organizations, 13 different artists, and the 11 themes for change for We the World, it's a beautiful pay it forward project. You can go straight to wetheworldmusic.bandcamp.com and you can find it all there. It's beautiful. It took me 2 years to put it together. So I'm really proud of it. And the artists are fantastic. The organizations are organizations like March for Our Lives and We the World, and oh my goodness, there's so many on there.
There's like 13.
The building of an opiate recovery center, which is Serenity Star. I mean, there's all kinds of amazing things that people put their energy behind, and collectively, our dollar here and our dollar there can make super big change for an organization that needs, $500 to keep their website up, or $2,500 to launch a campaign that will help change consciousness, So every dollar goes towards supporting the organizations that are involved with the album, and we hope you enjoy the music. So that's wetheworldmusic.bandcamp.com. And we have a thing coming up on the 19th too. I don't know if we're going to be on air by then or not, but there will be a replay of The Power of Presence with Grandfather Golden Eagle, which I think will be really helpful to people. So that'll be on the guide. The guide will last all year. We the World's on the guide. WeYourChildren.org is another wonderful part of our project. And WorldUnityWeek.org. Right, Rick? WorldUnityWeek.org on June 21. On June 21, join us for the Global Wave of Love and WorldUnityWeek.org, where we will be hosting the Children and Youth Convergence stage, and it's going to be jam-packed with all kinds of wonderful things for people to be a part of. Elders from all over the world, prayer time, entertainment, music, panels, workshops, you name it. We got it going on.
Excellent. Excellent. And you're going to send me a piece of music. What will I be playing?
One, The Message from Mother Earth, and the We the World song, which is on the album compilation.
Excellent. And Rick, you want to have a final word?
So, so thank you. And thank you, Heidi for mentioning an urgent message from your children, which is the program. It's also part of International Children's Month and the Children and Youth Campaign. And if you can find out more by going to weyourchildren.org. I also wanted to give the website for 11 Days of Global Unity, because that's where you can see many of the videos and the people that are involved with the 11 campaigns for change. So that is 11daysofglobalunity.org, and the 11 is a numeral. So it's 11daysofglobalunity.org. And we.net, of course, connects all of these things.
Excellent. And I think maybe people can take a break from some of the toxic media that's out there and go to these websites and really get into how they can bring love into their lives, transform, and really begin to shift from the inside out through our families and into our communities. So I'm very grateful to both of you for joining us today. It's, I feel, a very special program, and our guests today have been Rick Ulfick. He's the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net, and Heidi Little, who is a vocalist, songwriter, performer, artist, educator, and founder of International Children's Month. So thank you very much, and I look forward to doing this again.
Thank
Bye-bye
you,
for now.
Kathryn.
Blessings, Kathryn. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We the world, we the people, we're the stuff made of stars. We the world, we the people, so near and yet so far. Talk about race and discrimination, we're the human race, many faces, many nations, global unity for our humanity, from our despair, a need to share because we care. We the world, we the people, we're the stuff made of stars. We the world, we the people, so near and yet so far. How about a kindness revolution? The future's in our hands. Every place a new relation. With our expanding we, a new humanity. Now here we grow, with each seed we sow, to let love flow. We the world, we the people, we're the stuff made of stars.
Join together, force field the weather's any storm. How union makes earth heaven, the bond that we form. Shows we the world, the insects, the plants and birds. We're the stars in the skies, we create the words to describe what we see, to take us where we wanna be. We all wanna be free. We the mountains, reach for the sun. Everybody, part of everyone. We the world, intentional kindness will take away the blindness. Peace and love will eventually find us. Enjoying harmony, creating shares of unity. We spread positive vibes through our communities. We the world, we the people, envision one that reaches all within the soul, that's the mission. Within the heart, joyously shared in peace and art, the art of share, the art of care. We say that's a decent start. The art of action in our lives ensures that the dream survives. Channels hope and equity drives. Giving back makes you tingle inside like stomach butterflies, and that'll let us rise to the sky. We the world. said we the world.
We the world, we the people, we're the stuff made of stars. We the world, we the people, so